you are old enough to be my dad or older. Like, excuse me. It's Hari and Kriya, and today I am going to tell you guys a story time about how I got harassed while in Seoul on the subway. So before we get into this video, if you guys are not subscribed to my channel, I would greatly appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of fun, new, interesting content planned for 2024, and if you don't want to miss out on it, you need to be subscribed, maybe hit the notification bell, and yeah, I hope you guys will join me on my journey. Anyway, let's get into the video. So this story time took place back in 2019, at least I think it was 2019. Back in 2019, I was frequently going to Itaewon in Seoul to get my hair braided. I always got box braids there. And every time after I got freshly done box braids, pretty much the moment after I walked out of the hair shop, it was kind of annoying the amount of people that would stare at me. And I'm not talking about Korean people because Itaewon is full of a lot of foreign people. So just everybody was staring at me. And I get my hair is freshly done. It probably looks nice, but I didn't appreciate the stares. On this particular day, I had come out of the hair shop after getting box braids, and I had to go to the bus terminal because I lived in Daejeon at the time and I need to catch my bus back to Daejeon. So I needed to take the subway from Itaewon to the bus terminal, which I don't remember how long it was, but it didn't seem like a very short ride. So I went down to the place where you catch the subway, and when I was trying to decide where to stand to wait for the subway to come, I walked past this group of men, like 3 or 4 men in their like maybe late 30s, and they all stopped talking and they just stared at me. And so I got really uncomfortable and I just kept walking without looking at them. I was like, I definitely don't want to stand anywhere near that door. So I walked way further down so I wouldn't have to be bothered with those people. But once I got further down, it was pretty empty, but there was like this one man who was also waiting for the subway there, but I was like, okay, whatever. I saw him staring at me, and again, lots of people stare at me in Korea, but you know, there's a difference between like staring because you're curious, staring because you think I'm attractive, and staring because you think I'm attractive and you have made it your mission to come and talk to me. And that is the stare that he was giving me. This man was, I would say, late 50s. He could have been early 60s. He had like lots of gray in his hair. He had like a scruffy beard that was turning gray. I don't know what country he was from. I would assume someplace in Africa, but I don't know exactly where he was from. Anyway, I saw him staring at me and I saw him giving me this look, like intense staring, like he was making a plan to come and talk to me. But in my head, I was thinking like, okay, I'll just put my earbuds in and I'll pretend I'm on my phone and I'll blast my music and he won't come and talk to me. I don't know if you guys have watched my other videos or my other story times, but this is a common reoccurring theme in Brianna's life, especially in the past. If somebody interacts with me and I don't want to talk to them, once they start talking to me, I'm gonna interact with them. The reason being is because if it's a situation where I don't want to make the other person feel awkward, I interact with them. I am a big people pleaser, which I am trying to change. I also don't like conflict. I like to avoid conflict at all costs. And especially if the situation is dangerous or it could become dangerous. For example, like a guy comes up and talks to me and I am in no way, shape, or form interested in them, I will still try to make them feel good because I don't want their ego to be hurt. Because I have read a lot of stories and I've seen a lot of situations where a guy's ego gets hurt and he lashes out. He might attack the person who hurt his ego, especially women. And I would rather be nice, even potentially give you my number and then block you later, because I cannot deal with the possibility of the situation turning dangerous. So he eventually comes up to me and I am trying my best to ignore him, like pretending like I can't hear him, until he really gets right in my face and he's like, oh, hi, how are you doing? And he like pointed to his ears, like trying to tell me to take my earbuds out. And at this point I'm like, okay, well, I'm already in this situation and I don't want to be harmed by this man potentially, so time to make sure his ego doesn't get hurt. Yeah, so he's like, hi, how are you doing? And I was just like, oh, I'm doing good, blah, blah, blah. You know, typical small talk. The subway then comes and we get on the subway and of course he's standing right next to me. It wasn't like extremely crowded, crowded, but it was a little bit crowded, so there was nowhere to sit down. There weren't many places to stand, so he was standing right next to me. So anyway, he starts talking to me. It was pretty friendly, not creepy at first. It was just things like, oh, what are you doing in Korea? And he was telling me he was in Korea for some business he was doing or blah, blah, blah. And since at first it's mostly small talk, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe like another brother reaching out to a sister, you know, just friendly conversation. Because I am thinking, I know there's no way he was trying to hit on me. I was like 23 at the time. I think, I'm not gonna do the math right now, but you are old enough to be my dad or older, like, excuse me. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I know there's no way he could possibly want to date me. Like, come on now, it's common sense. And I'm like, of course, since it's common sense, he should know there's no way I could possibly be interested in him. Come on. Well, after, you know, the small talk and the talk about why we're in Korea or whatever, he then goes on to tell me that he is looking to start dating again, and he is looking to find a nice young lady to be with him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there like, And he started telling me about how he was such a good man and he knows how to treat a lady, and he used to have a wife. They were married for a while, and I don't remember the exact reason why they got divorced, but I do remember he definitely made it her fault, not his. So I'm kind of like dumbfounded at this point, but again, I'm keeping up the persona of, okay, be nice, be friendly, don't damage his ego. So after he goes on this long rant about how great of a man he is, he then stops and he's like, oh, so you look like a nice young lady. Do you have a boyfriend? At the time, it wasn't even a lie. At the time, I did have a boyfriend, if you can even call him that. If you want to see the story on that, check it out up here. But anyway, at the time I did have a boyfriend, so I was like, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend. And I like to show proof, and I think like he had messaged me or something, so I like just quickly held up my phone like, see, this is my boyfriend. And the reason I like to have proof is because I feel like men definitely will respect a man who they don't even know before they will respect you. And so I'm like, okay, if they know I have a boyfriend, they see this proof right here, then they'll respect, like, oh, don't want to, you know, mess with another man's woman. That's what I was thinking. So after he saw I had a boyfriend, he's like, oh yeah, I should have assumed that because you're just such a beautiful, young, nice lady. And I was like, So after he found out I have a boyfriend, he then kind of switched into being like, oh, well, I know you have a boyfriend, but you know, maybe we could, you know, be friends still. Like, it would be really nice to just have some friends in Korea. I don't have many friends. Anyway, I'm kind of just like shaking my head and like laughing, trying to avoid giving him an answer, but he keeps pressing on about how we should be friends. So eventually it's time for me to get off of the subway, and I was like, there's no chance we're going to the same stop, right? Tell me why I'm getting off the subway and this man is also getting off at the same stop as me. And I'm like, he's like, oh wow, what a coincidence. Like, we are both getting off at the bus terminal. We really should be friends. At this point, I don't want him following me anymore. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to talk to him. I want to get on my bus and leave. But I also don't want to, you know, upset him because I don't want him to be angry at me. So after we got off at the subway station, you kind of have to walk a little bit from getting off the subway to get to the bus station. And so I don't really have time to be messing around and talking to him and, you know, doing all of this. So I am just on a mission to get to where my bus is, and he is still talking to me and following me. So at one point, he like kind of like tugs on my jacket to like stop me from walking. And he's like, oh, I really have to ask you this question. I know you have a boyfriend, but I need your number. So as he said this, my phone was unlocked and it was open because I was trying to pull up the ticket for my bus, and also I didn't know which building I needed to be in to catch my bus. And so I was a little confused on getting around and everything. So I had my phone open and unlocked because I was also looking at directions and looking at pulling up my ticket for my bus. So my phone was in my hand when he stopped me, and he's like, I need to get your number. I didn't answer him right away, and he took my phone. Like, literally took my phone out of my hand. So he opens up the app to call his phone, and he calls his phone, it starts ringing, and I'm sitting there dumbfounded. Like, how dare this man just grab my phone in public? But also, I don't want to cause a situation here. Like, if he thinks I'm being friendly and I'm interested in genuinely being friends with him, like, he's not gonna be upset with me, even if I need to like go quickly, right? So he calls his phone, it rings, and he's like, oh great, now I have your number. And then he hands me back my phone. I am now extremely upset. Prior prior to all of this, I was annoyed that he kept talking to me, trying to hit on me, all that stuff. But after he grabbed my phone, called himself, this man is crazy. This man could be crazy. So I was upset, but I also was like, okay, because he's crazy, I don't want to upset him. So I gently like told him, I was like, oh my goodness, like I have to go catch my bus and I really need to go to the bathroom. And I didn't even really give him a chance to like say anything after that. I was like, I have to go catch my bus and go to the bathroom. It's nice to meet you. And then I like just dashed away, right? And it was very crowded in the building we were in. So I feel like I got like kind of lost in the sea of people pretty quickly. So I eventually get on my bus and I am just upset. But the best way to fix any, you know, bad feelings is to take a nap. So I took a nap on the bus, and by the time I woke up, I got to my apartment, I hung out with my friend, everything was fine, right? This happened on a Saturday, and then Sunday, you know, I think I had forgotten about the situation. It wasn't until Monday when I was at work that I realized that I never blocked his number, because he ended up texting me. He's like, hey, it's a guy you met at the bus station. It was really so great to meet you. Again, I don't want any type of, you know, relationship outside of a friendship. I just want to be friends with you because you seem like a really nice person and I would love to get to know you. That is pretty much the message that he sent me. And I remember being at work and looking at it and I just started laughing because I was like, how delusional is this man to think that a 20-year-old girl wants to be friends with a 60-year-old man who clearly also has bad intentions? No, I don't want to be friends with you. You followed me through the bus station, you grabbed my phone and harassed someone way younger than you, like you're a creep. Anyway, so once I saw the message, of course I deleted it and blocked him and never heard from that man again. You know, I'm very happy that nothing bad came from that situation. But yeah, just know that when you're in Korea, even though everybody says it's a very safe country, just be aware of your surroundings, be careful of what you're doing. Don't come to Korea thinking it is extremely safe, because you can go on YouTube and look up a ton of stories of people being harassed or attacked or everything while being in Korea. That's not to scare you. Obviously, I do like living here and I do feel relatively safe most days, but there are times when situations could be scary. So I just wanted to let you guys hear this story and be aware of the types of things that happen in Korea. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have a lot more story times coming out of situations where Brianna was not confrontational. So yeah, if you want to hear those story times or other dating story times or just any other videos you guys would like to hear about, let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, make sure to give me a like and make sure if you're not subscribed to my channel, to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.